back to another episode of the Inquisition. I'm Beba and today's show is very special. So today we have KeanTV's very own Richard Zeller. Yeah, I know. So Richard is a student here, but he's also a veteran. Let's welcome Rich to the show, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Of course. Thank you for being part of KeanTV and for being a guest today.
It's exciting.
So why don't you tell our viewers what your major is and then what you did in the military?
Okay, so here at Kean, I'm a communications major with the media and film option. And then in the military, I was 4.5 years active duty. I was stationed in Virginia, Texas. I deployed to Iraq for 15 months. And then I did reserves for 2 more years after I got out of active duty. And then I came to school when I got out.
So that was a total of how many years in the Army?
6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
Wow.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
Wow. So what made you want to enlist?
Well, when I first got out of high school, it was like, go to college. For me, in my head, I'm like, either I could go to college or I could go to the military. I was not going to stay home and do nothing. So I really didn't want to do college at the time, so sign me up. Pretty much that's what the decision came down to, college or military. That's what I put on myself.
So how did your experience in the military impact you as a person overall? And then how did it impact you as a student?
I think as a person overall, it made me better. I think my mindset of the world is more open. I think I lived in South Amboy, a very small town. So you have a very train of thought is a small town thought. And when I joined the military, I started working with people from around the world, people from different cultures, people from different states. So it just opened up my whole world to work with different types of people, gave me a more liberal mindset, I feel like, because when you start to work with everyone from you gotta learn how to work within different cultures, you know?
Yeah.
So everyone's not the same. You gotta learn how different people operate. So like I said, I just feel like it gave me a wide open view of the world and how to work with so many different people. And it helps a lot here with school because, everyone is different. Not everybody's the same. So I took that from the military of how to work with different people and not be stuck in my own way. And I feel like it just helps, because there's people in school are from all over the country too.
Of course,
here it's
especially here at Kean.
Yeah, so it's very diverse. So being able to work with so many different people and knowing how to work with them is just a blessing.
Yeah, and communications majors goes hand in hand with that. So it definitely made you a better person.
Yeah, just well-rounded. I think is the word I'm looking for.
That's the word. You found it.
Definitely.
So I imagine that the transition from high school to military was hard, and probably from the military to college.
No, I think from military to college was harder.
Yeah.
Because I was older at that point. So when you come to school, I'm a lot older than a lot of people. So it's just different. And like I said, when I first transitioned from military to college, I wasn't no good at it. Like my first 3 semesters at Middlesex County College, where before I came here, I had like a 1.1 GPA. I don't know how you get that low. I don't know how it's even possible.
You don't even know.
I was dropping classes. I was failing classes. I was just not even going. Why
do you think?
It was just a whole different world, and I wasn't ready for it. Again, when I left military, I was like, I need to do something. So let me go to school now. So when I got there, just the classroom setting, being surrounded by people who couldn't relate to where I was coming from, and at that time, I was only shortly removed from deploying and being in the military. So I hadn't fully transitioned back into the civilian world yet and how to operate within it. A lot of terminology, a lot of the work ethic, just a lot of it is just completely different. So actually after I got like a 1.71 GPA, I was on all kinds of academic probation. I actually quit school for 2 years, regrouped, and then when I got back, I started getting 4.0s. That's what I was like, okay, this is how you do it. This is how you operate it. I gave myself more time to space out from military and readjust to being in the civilian world. So it made school a lot easier at that point. And now I'm a superstar.
Of course. Of course, here you are on our show. When you were in the military, did you make friends?
No, of course. I made friends with everybody.
Yeah.
But you could call them battle buddies. It's kind of
really?
a little term in the military.
Battle buddies.
Yeah, I know. But there's a lot I do keep in touch with. I do try to keep in touch. Because we did experience something together. I was at 19.
We went to different countries.
We went to war together.
Yeah.
I grew up. That's where I really grew up. People say you're 4 years in high school, middle school, what town you grew up in. Where I feel I grew up and learned how to be a person was in the military. I spent the most time there. You're put under a lot of pressure. You're taken out of your world. You're taken away from your family. You're taken away from your friends. You're taken away from everything you know, and you're just dropped off. Figure it out.
How did you do that? I can never, y'all. I wouldn't last a day in the military.
I think it comes down to how well you are at adapting. If you can't adapt, you're gonna die. You're not gonna not die, but you're gonna like not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Because if some people are like, oh no, I'm away from home. Oh no, I'm away from family, and they're stressed. If they can't deal with it. If you can't be like, okay, here I am. Let me just accept my position where I am now. Let me figure it out now and live in the here and now. You're gonna flounder. So for me, it was just a matter of fact, I'm here. Even when I went to Iraq, it was like, okay, I'm here. What can I do about it now? Why be sad about it? Why cry about it? Why be stressed? Just focus on the here and now and figure out the rest later. So adaptability, I would say, is the number one trait you need to succeed in the military.
That's really impressive. I'll tell you that right now.
You can do it.
And no,
You're
I can't.
adaptable.
I can't. It's just fascinating to me that like you were in the military for 6 years, 6 years of your life, and now you're going to school, and like you have such a normal life now, and it's
Life goes on. We can't stop.
You're right.
Keep moving until you move the world.
Wow. Wow.
I'm just saying that it doesn't get to stop, but it's not that I make it look easy now, but I did struggle. Like I said, that original transition from military school to regular world, it was just hard because I went from a place where, you know, food was free, rent was paid for, you were given your schedule, you knew where to be. You're saying you were given your life. Like, you had no choice to
now
like,
you got to make it on
here you
your
go,
own.
here's your freedom now. Figure out how to pay your bills. You make your own schedule. If you don't show up, you're not going to be punished, and you know. So just learning how to control myself and schedule my own time was a big thing to overcome.
I bet it was.
And that 1.1 sign was terrible.
Yeah.
Don't even
Maybe you need a planner from Ruby.
I
think
really,
so.
that would work, but I'm not great with planners. But she wants to send me one, I'll take one. Veterans Day was like 2 days ago.
So how do you think that you being a veteran in college, how do you think your perspective of college is different than like for me? Like what's the difference? What do you think?
I think just in general, being in school older, for me, I feel like it allows me to appreciate a lot of things I learn more. Because like when I'm in class, when they talk about something or they teach you something, like I'm at the point now where I can relate it to a real life experience more so than a 19 or 20-year-old who just went from high school to college. You know, like it's just living your life. So it's just I appreciate it. I understand when I translate with the teacher. I'm more in closer age range to the teacher, so I could talk to them more as a peer almost than, you know, someone looking up to them. Just like I said, adaptability, just being here, making sure things are done, scheduling, because in the military, everything's on a schedule. So here, I'm like, okay, I got to schedule this. Boom, boom, boom.
Ruby's planner.
Ruby's, we're really plugging that right now. But that's what it pretty much comes down to. I think it's just that I understand and I could relate a lot more to the information because I have the experience of living through life at this point.
Yeah, and like for me, college is my experience of life.
Yeah, exactly. So they might tell you something, and it's just what they told you. It's just what. But when they tell me something, I'm like, oh wow, I lived that. I understand it, especially communication when they talk about maybe being in a workplace or learning to adapt or working in small groups. Like it's not for me. It wasn't working in a small group on on like a class project. For me, it was working in a small group overseas in war. Like, so I understand, especially with communications and all that stuff.
So would you like kind of recommend?
Yes.
You would?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I personally think everyone should do it.
Really?
I think everyone should. Not mandatory, but I just think it's such a great experience. You learn so much. You get a lot from it. I'm in school for free right now. I don't have that stress. Like I'm in college for free. How much more of a benefit do you need? But yes, absolutely 100%. I learned how to be an adult. I learned how to work with so many different people, and you know, it's a diverse country we live in. It's great to take yourself out of like a small town or one state and learn how the rest of the world operates. And I think that's what it gives you really an opportunity to do. So yes, go sign up, Beba. I'll walk you over there right now.
So is there anything else you'd like to add to our viewers, Rich?
No, I really appreciate, especially on campus, they did like a lot of Veterans Day stuff, and it's really cool. It's good to be appreciated and understood and acknowledged for the time that you went and spent overtime.
You're not alone. We have other veterans.
There's like 240 something on campus.
We have a lot. And I'm really glad that you were our guest today so that people are exposed. All right. So that's going to conclude our episode, everyone. So Richard, thank you for being a guest.
Thank you.
You'll be back next episode.
Behind the camera.
Behind the camera as crew.
Continue your great job as a great host.
Thank you. I appreciate your work for KeanTV and for what you did for this country.
I always appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, so thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you found this interesting and that you learned something. Thank Rich for being here. And I'm Beba Zokic, and I'll see you next time.